Oh, the weather outside is frightful,
but inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review
Let's review.
You
And Me. Season 3.
Bum.
Bum. Spoon. That's right. That's right, folks. We're here to talk about the Christmas special for The Tick. None other than The Tick. It is an awesome show that's built upon kind of riffing on the superhero tropes and superhero conventions and whatnot. But you know what else is an awesome show that's built upon that, BlueDragonFive?
Super Academy.
Super Academy. And you know what the good folks at Super Academy have also been up to recently?
Tell me, please.
It's the Movie Machine Podcast! It's what happens when you take four funny people and improvise a movie based on a random story generator. Really, 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 really fast. You got Kyle Decker, Ben Lifson, Jacob Gulliver, and a host of others, a rotating panel of guest stars that's so awesome you can't shake a spoon at it. HotChocolateMedia.net. All right, Dragon, so we're here to get into the I really love the title for this episode. It's just The Tick Loves Santa. Just really fun title right off the bat. And so what is your experience with The Tick? Because I really don't have a lot of experience with The Tick. This is actually, I want to say I might have seen like an episode or two here or there when I was a kid, but this is probably the first full episode I've seen growing up in a long time.
I have a little experience with The Tick. I mean, similar to you, I remember mostly from the. I mean, I've heard about The Tick. It was in kind of the same era as your Freakazoids and your Batman. So mainly on rerun, but I mean, The Tick was still like it was around during that time. It started in '94, to my recollection. Tick was interesting. It was very. I remember it has really interesting visuals. Kind of your giant buff blue guy with dressed like a tick, and he has like his partner like basically dressed like a moth. It always had kind of that visual distinction. The villains are really out there, like Chairface Chippendale, guy with literally a chair for a face. There are a lot of absurd, distinctive visuals, and I remember I've seen a few episodes. Mainly, I want to say it was during the JetX days. It basically was on like kind of a Disney Channel, basically where I was getting the opportunity to watch some Spider-Man reruns.
Okay.
Not for the first time, but just a chance to see him because Spider-Man was still, I think, still even to this day might be the big holdout for DVD releases. It's like any DVD release is not official, but it's like kind of like it's burned copies, I think.
Right.
Anyway, my point is, I did see a few episodes of The Tick. The one that always is like distinctly in my memory. It's kind of like with Batman the Animated Series for me. There are two episodes that are always just whether I love them or not. They will always be ingrained in my memory because they're so distinctive. That'd be the Jokerfish. It's called Laughing Fish, and it's about the Jokerfish. Laughing Fish, which is my favorite episode, but also is ingrained in my memory. And the other one is Batman, Heart of his Silicon. It's called Batman: His Silicon Soul, which is about the robotic Batman duplicate, which as a kid blew my mind of Batman fighting robot Batman. So this is in that vein of like there's an episode of The Tick where it's The Tick has a friend, Dinosaur Neo, who's a guy who just dresses like a dinosaur, but he has the ability, I guess. I want to say he's kind of like a lizard kind of a character, where like he used to be. Basically, he's a good guy. He's a nice guy. They all like him. Who on his bad days, like when he'll go into like kind of like a Jekyll Hyde sort of thing, where he'll turn into a giant kind of Godzilla-like monster with a mustache.
Right.
And basically, The Tick had to take this giant aspirin, essentially to medicate the guy to kind of bring him back down to normal size. They jump inside his mouth. It's in the opening thing. Remember when we saw the Tick like wrestling with a giant tongue?
Yeah.
That's from that episode. That always kind of stuck in my mind. It was Chairfish Chippendale who made the giant aspirin. So that one always sticks in my memory. I've seen a few episode clips here and there. I watched a few, and I mainly know The Tick, primarily the gist of The Tick from Captain Logan's Love of the Tick on his Superhero Rewinds, his countdowns. I've seen the pilot episode of the live action Tick series with Patrick Warburton. So I mean, I get the general the concept of The Tick sounds very intriguing, and Ben Endlin is a really creative guy behind it.
Mm-hmm. Like, literally all I remember from the Tick, my biggest memory of it is probably just my grandparents used to run a pet store that was connected, like it was in a building connected to a comic book store, which was, I gotta say, pretty awesome. But I remember that comic book store always used to have a lot of Tick merchandise, so Tick action figures and stuff like that. So that's kind of more how I think they had a Tick comic book too that I probably read it. So really the comic book store atmosphere was where I really kind of discovered the Tick more than anything else.
Now, let me just set the stage for kind of the importance of this series. Recalling what I've learned from Captain Logan Superhero Rewind on the top 8 Tick episodes from the animated series, it's Ben Edlund. So he's always involved with the Tick. Tick is his character. He's his big project of his, and also Ben Edlund. Just to remind people, he is one of the producers on Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Which you can definitely see the influence, Ben Edlund influence here and there on Gotham.
Sure.
But from what I understand from the Superhero Rewind, it's that the Tick started as I want to say, a 13-issue comic series that is pretty much in the look and the style of this series. There are a few differences, but basically the animated series is the continuation of that. It's very identical to the comic. Maybe I guess you maybe can't kill people on that.
Do you know if they made comics post-animated series?
That's the thing. Ben Allen got so
I want to say that that's probably the stuff that I was reading was the post-animated series comics.
Well, here's the thing. The animated series, it kind of adapted a few of the comics and then just kind of ran with it. So if there was anything printed, it was probably like a tie-in comic of some kind. I don't recall.
I spilled all my lemonade. Oh, no.
Well, that's what you get for drinking very noticeably during a podcast.
You know what? I need to keep hydrated, all right?
I'm kidding you.
I'm sorry.
Wipe it up. Wipe up the mess.
That's what I'm doing. Do you have any more background to go over?
Okay, anyway, my point is the series is really continuing. Ben was he prided himself on this animated series. That was the continuation of the comics. So whether there was a tie-in or not, I'm not quite sure. But this was essentially the end-all be-all of the Tick, live action or not. This was the definitive Tick for the guy.
Okay.
And this does stand up as kind of the definitive Tick. While the live action stuff is pretty good too.
Okay,
which also Tick.
Go ahead.
Tick is being remade. It's one of our actors from Guardians of the Galaxy is going to play Peter Serafinowicz, I think the guy's name is. He's going to be the new Tick.
Okay. That's cool. Live action or animated?
Live action. I would love it if it was. I don't know if they confirmed it was on Netflix. It sounds like a Netflix type project.
It sounds like something Netflix would do. Yeah. Okay, well, why don't you get started with the first part of the episode? I need to grab some towels so my floor doesn't become a sticky mess. All right?
Okay, hurry up.
I will.
Clumsy. Sorry, folks. My guy's clumsy here. So, okay, so the Tick loves Santa. So we start the episode off. We see a thin, sickly charity Santa. He's coughing. He's like, he's ringing the charity bell. This does reek of kind of. I'm not going to speak like I'm an expert on Ben Edlund and the Tick and everything. Just what I've learned from kind of basically getting the Tick 101 in the animated series, just kind of getting a vibe of what Ben Edlund goes for. This feels very accurate to, basically kind of a. Basically, like what some we have with Invaders In, where it's kind of like someone's take on humanity or on reality, and it's really skewed. This is kind of the tasteful, clever skew on reality in a way. It's not like a cynical version like Invaders In. It's just kind of someone looking upon us like, okay, well, you have kind of your charity Santas, which obviously is not the guy, and you have just this really kind of off kilter, kind of like father-son moment here. It's like it's playing on the kind of the holiday, like, oh, it's a father explaining what Santa Claus is to his son here, where it's the son's asking, "That's not Santa, is it? Why is that man dressed as Santa, Dad?" And basically the father, voiced by, I believe, by God, sorry, I'm blanking on the name right now, but I'll circle back. Point is, father explained to the son, I'll explain when we get home, son. And what I love about this opening, folks, is that this really does a great job of setting up kind of the Tick's conflict in the episode, where it's basically someone explaining to another person of a childlike mentality, that not every Santa you see on the street is the real Santa. Of course, the whole question of if there is or is not a Santa Claus. Anyway, so moving on. We see a bank robber. Meanwhile, he's fleeing the police after having robbed the bank. He runs into the Charity Santa. He steals his suit, leaving the Charity Santa in his t-shirt and boxers. The robber dressed as Santa Claus is fleeing. Says, cop is chasing him. Says, "Freeze! I am freeze! That guy stole my suit." And then he's going down the street to find that guy.
I love how the cop's just like, "Oh, okay."
Yep.
Very
So, meanwhile, Tick and Arthur, I just love the mundanity here. They're just kind of returning home from their shopping excursion, just like carrying. I just love they do their own shopping and everything. It's like it feels so Seinfeld. As they're walking home after shopping.
And then Arthur's asking about plums, and Tick's got literal plums dancing around his head. They're dancing, Arthur. They're dancing in my head.
Oh yeah, so the great I believe it's Townsend Coleman voicing the Tick, and Rob Paulson as Arthur. Just these two guys, a great pairing, and there's like the perfect voices. Rob Paulson delivers some great genius stuff in this episode. He plays a few characters.
He does.
But of course, Arthur
Is
being
Rob Paulson playing multiple characters going to be a trope now?
Well, I don't know. Well, he always does multiple characters, so I don't know how much of a trope that is.
All right, fair enough.
Point is, but you're right though. I love the best thing about this series. The best thing about the Tick. This series is just kind of like absurdity 101. This practically wrote the book on how to do absurdity with superheroes right.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This came
like
on
a bonkers version.
way before stuff like I don't know, like like a Sky High or The Incredibles or something like that.
Well, that's less absurd. It's more kind of like it's kind of a fun look on series. But I think it's like a bonkers version. It's an insane bonkers version of the 60s Batman show.
Sure, I can see that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The Incredibles and Sky High, they're like they're playing with it's kind of a look. It's a satire on superheroes of some kind. It's like it's playing with the tropes. This is like saying this is completely absurd and we're just running with it.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's see. So they're walking home. They're saying basically, I just love when we check in with the Tick and Arthur, they're always kind of mid conversation.
Right.
Always just kind of mid conversation. Well, Tick, I don't know. I can't explain sugar plums. I haven't seen them before. They're dancing, like you said.
They're dancing, Arthur. They're dancing.
I assume this is the same for you, Tick, but in my notes, I just have so many Tick lines as written down because they're so brilliant. The way they're delivering this craft is brilliant. Arthur, it's like an insane buff version of Adam West Batman. It really is. It's just,
right.
Like,
I can totally see that. Right.
It's like you marry the Crimson, basically the Crimson Shin's body, but with kind of an Adam West delivery.
Okay.
It's only 2,880 minutes until Christmas, or 100,000. What is it?
172,800 shopping seconds.
Till Christmas. So then Santa, as he's running away, our robber Santa, he's running away, bumps into the Tick, and obviously he jiggles his belly as he's on the ground. He's so starstruck.
Look at the rosy cheeks and the cockney beard.
Yep. Santa, did you get my list? And then basically Santa gets up, he runs away. Well, you can forget about the pony. It's fine.
Is this Santa? Is this fake Santa Jim Cummings?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay. Good. I thought good. I'm glad I'm not hearing things there. All right.
Oh, by the way, I was thinking of Frank Welk earlier on. You missed this, T. I was just trying to think of who the voice of the father was at the beginning. It's Frank Welk.
Okay. Also, do we have a Scrooge nail down for this one?
Well, it's interesting.
I
don't know the collective
one.
Well, here's the thing. It's between Arthur or kind of the whole collective bunch of them.
You think you really think it's Arthur?
I think it's more the collective bunch. Again, I think it's the collective bunch because it's like they're disbelieving of Santa Claus. I mean, they're in the holiday spirit, but that's the thing. There's not really a Scrooge in this. I mean, again, our thief, he doesn't learn a lesson, so he isn't exactly
right.
The closest thing is kind of the collective superheroes, aside from the Tick, that they're kind of in disbelief over Santa Claus's existence, and Arthur's kind of the face of that.
So would you say all those characters collectively would make a fusion Scrooge?
Well, I'm going to have to poke a hole in that because of this.
What?
I can't let you have this fusion shoes because Arthur actually learns the lesson because none of them really get to spend time with Santa Claus except Arthur. So Arthur really learns the most out of all.
Okay, so we got to.
So, I mean, well, he's not.
Yes.
Yeah, Arthur has the holiday arc, so it's Arthur.
I think that's a stretch, but again, I think it's probably a good thing that this is one of the harder episodes it is to find a Scrooge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're all so darn nice and funny.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like it's a nice kind of subversion of the Christmas format that we don't need to have a Scrooge, and this episode is still really delightful.
Okay, let's see. So Santa Claus flees. The cops are after, or after him, and then as the Tick points out, "Oh, Arthur, the cops are after Santa. There must be some kind of mistake." And again, it's pretty obvious. Okay, it's not Santa Claus. It's a guy in a Santa suit. More so, it's a criminal in a Santa suit.
Right.
And Arthur just trying to play catch up with the Tick. And again, it's like your little your hyperactive 5-year-old saying, "Oh my God, it's Santa!" And basically, like Arthur constantly plays the parent trying to catch up to the Tick, trying to stop him. Anyway, so okay, basically our fake Santa here just wants the Tick to buzz off. just buzz off, leave me alone. Then he leaps to the fake Santa's defense on the rooftop during this chase, and trying to explain to the helicopter cop. Here's what I love, Tick. It's so absurd. I love the fact that the Tick is such an icon of this world that the cops are. It's not like an antagonistic. He's a vigilante. It's like the helicopter cop is explained to Tick like he's the neighbor kid. No, Tick, you don't understand. I love a guy in a helicopter while he's in pursuit of a criminal trying to say. I love it because this.
In a way, I kind of think it reminds me of the Freakazoid dynamic that they have.
Yeah, but it's like instead of one cop, it's every cop. Every cop
of course, right.
Familiarity with the Tick. Well, he doesn't mean any harm, but he's destructive. It's like, what if everyone just like forgave Superman in the Snyderverse?
Oh God.
Let's all if we just like forgave Superman. Just like basically, oh well, he's so jolly when he does it. He's just so jolly.
But he's jolly. He's jolly.
Like Batman's trying to file an insurance claim, and says, "But we like Superman. He's just so upbeat."
Oh God. Okay.
Anyway, so but it's just so hilarious. He's taking the time to actually explain to like shooting first and asking questions later. Is like no, like ordinarily a superhero gets in the way, then he's shot at or something. But no, he just says no, Tick. We can't. We need to find the guy is not who you think he is. Anyway, as that progresses, the pursuit continues. Santa gets he jumps or he falls or something. He gets zapped on the giant honesty sign. It says honesty, right?
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, that's what I took.
I think it's pretty funny. It gets zapped on. How poetic. And then this I was at this point just the Tick is so crestfallen. He thinks like a child. He's just so child-minded. He believes Santa Claus has been killed.
We fried Santa, Arthur. We fried Santa.
And the cops just leave to fill out paperwork, not even sticking around. Like they just instantly go home as the Tick's left horrified. It's such a reverse.
Right.
You don't get. Hey, we just caused the fatality. Let's go home and let's file paperwork, then we'll come back.
Then Arthur, Arthur is being a nice guy here. He's just like everything's gonna be okay, Tick.
Like rarely to my recollection, I haven't watched every episode or anything. Rarely to my recollection has Arthur ever been like, oh, the Tick's an idiot. I hate that guy. It's rarely that.
Right.
It's always like, he's my intrepid friend. We're partners in crime. It's like the competent Robin,
Yeah, definitely.
So let's see. So Arthur tries to explain to Tick he was a bank robber, but Tick is. This is a great way to end the first act. This is the first act, right? Or is this?
I would say this is the opening, really.
Yeah, it feels so first actish at the end. Here.
It might be the first act. It might be the first.
Well, we'll get. I'm just saying it feels like a good kind of.
I don't really think it matters. I don't think we really need to like scientifically break down.
Point is, I love that by the end of the scene, the Tick is so emotionally devastated. It's like, oh my God, it's like don't you feel genuine? Like, oh, you feel bad for the Tick. He just thinks Santa's been fried.
Well, yeah, again, in the same way that you feel bad for a kid who just learned that Santa isn't real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see. But thankfully, again, because we are on network television, by all means, the robber is alive because we can't kill someone that brutally. Robber is alive, and he duplicates himself.
Oh, boy. We're
going to pick up with that a little later on. Meanwhile, we have hilarious stuff going on. We have Deflator Mouse hitting on American Made.
All these characters, can I just say all these characters kind of feel like Ralph Bakshi creations? Ralph Bakshi is the guy who created Fritz the Cat, and also, of course, he's the guy who he was featured in the Ren and Stimpy documentary.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
we're gonna make some funny fucking cartoons, kid. You're pretty funny.
Yeah, it feels pretty distinctly Ben Edlund to me. I don't know.
I got a Bakshi vibe, but to each his own. To each his own.
All right. So, by the way, our collection here is a few of them. I don't know all of the names. I know the primary ones that speak in this episode. So
Right.
We got American Maid and the Flare Mouse. The Flare Mouse is our Batman guy, and the American Maid's kind of our Wonder Woman meets Captain America as a maid.
I thought it was the Field Mouse.
Well, no, the gag is it's Deflator Mouse, but it's like spelled like Deflator Mouse.
Oh, okay, got it.
No, she calls him Field Mouse that's like she's making fun of him.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a superhero name. Okay,
It's not spelled like, I don't know if that's like the actual like zoological term or anything like Deflator Mouse, but it's like spelled like kind of German, but it's said like Deflator Mouse.
Okay.
Regardless, so the Flare Mouse is hitting on American Made with mistletoe around the holidays, Christmas trope. The Tick is super bummed. Again, your heart goes out to the Tick here. The Tick is bummed out at the party.
There won't be any more Christmas, Arthur, because we fried Santa.
Again, it's just Townsend Coleman is just a genius at voice acting. He really is. It's like, basically, what if we just gave Adam West like all free range? And like, I don't want to just compare him to Adam West because he's his own thing. They're both their own things. Like Adam West,
absolutely.
Adam West is like kind of crafted like the perfect statue of a Batman betrayal, where you have Townsend Coleman here, who's just kind of he's on like a various thing, which is kind of a nailed down persona you can go to.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's see. So, like, seriously, it's like a scientific process with the Adam West Batman. Here, it's just kind of like it's like a guy running with it. You know, it's just kind of he's nailed down kind of the formula for this perfect character. Anyway, let's see. So, Tick's bummed out apart. You know what the Tick needs, Sticky, to cheer him up?
I think he needs like a nice hearty bowl of rock soup, right?
You know who should bring it to him? Vera Farmiga. Well, I know that'd make me happy.
And then she'd just be like, "Oh, and if you're hungry later, Tick, here's a hamburger on a stick I'll put to the side."
I put it on a stick so you wouldn't get your hands all messy when you eat it.
And then she just gives the Tick like a nice little like small kiss on the forehead.
And she pats Arthur. And then she glances like nicely at Arthur and just pats him on the head.
Oh,
hello, Arthur. Guys, want the Vera Farmiga animated series? Can we please get that? I'm saying Mike Tyson has an animated show.
Thing. Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, why can't we have kind of in a similar style? Let's give Vera Farmiga an animated series. Just have her not as Norma Bates, just as like happy-go-lucky Vera Farmiga is brightening people's days.
Let's kickstart that shit, BlueDragonFive. We need to kickstart that shit.
See, in the opening is like sad Hulk music, but then basically she walks by with kind of like this like sunshiny music and a giant sun. Basically, she gives him some rock super, like gives him like a little hearty handshake or something. Just cheer up. And it's like, anyway, sorry, we're drifting off. That's what the show does a lot.
We'll be talking about Farmiga later.
But this show does, the Tick of. If we're going to tangent on any show, this show's the one.
Fair enough.
Okay, anyway, so the point is, Tick is really bummed out. That we fried Santa. And Arthur, you don't get it. There's gonna be no more Christmas because we fried Santa. I love these like say, "Oh, poor Arthur, he doesn't quite get it yet. There's gonna be no Santa." So again, Arthur gently just tries to tell Tick that there's no Santa. Again, like a parent talking to a child here. You know, it's. I love that after he's gently trying to lay it out for him, the Flare Mouse just kind of directly says, "Tick, there's no Santa." I know because it got fried. There's no justice in like just us reclaiming the Tick lines here. It's a work of genius, folks. It almost brings a tear to your eye just how brilliant it is. Anyway, so let's see. So, I'm just trying to think who's the next line here. All right. The Tick says in retaliation, "And you call yourself super." I'm sorry. After I know when he got fried, Arthur tries to clarify that there is no Santa Claus, and he just we don't believe in Santa Claus. You don't believe in Santa Claus? None of them do. And you call yourself superheroes. So we have four-legged man, so just caroling after the kind of the mood's been kind of cramped at the party.
Yeah.
Literally, you saw the guy's costume, right? Just four legs.
Mm-hmm.
So ridiculous. Meanwhile, let's see. So
There's the creepy robot Santa at the mall who, that guy still gives me nightmares as a security guard.
Oh, you know that's a celebrity cameo too, because not the guard, but the Santa Claus. That's Santa Claus from Santa Claus 2. Remember, it's the Tim Allen, the toy Santa.
Oh god!
Even looks a little bit like him.
Oh.
Anyone, where's the hot chocolate? Oh. No, I'm just being silly on that one, folks. But it did come to mind. Like, oh, what if that's the Tim Allen Santa Claus who meets a horrific
robot Santa? Yeah.
Anyway, so at least then our Santa robber. Our Santa robber army attacks and loots the mall, decapitates Robo Santa.
Right.
And then he announces himself as multiple Santa is coming to town.
God.
Also, there's this really great thing with Jim Cummings' voice. I mean, there's like kind of an alteration on his voice. It's really cool that when he speaks, even when he's alone, he has a kind of an echo on his voice to make it sound like he has multiple people inside him. And that's out of context. That sounds really bad, I know, but go with me on it. So, he has like multiple vocal cords.
I get you. And then, then he tosses the robot Santa head to the guard, and the guard's like just nonchalantly like, "I may never sleep again."
Again, Tiki, that just feels like a Ben Edlund touch of all these incidental characters having these really quirky moments of
totally
mundane conversations. Like at the beginning, I was talking about while you weren't here, is the father son kind of having. It just feels off, doesn't it? At the beginning there,
just a little bit. You're right, just a little bit.
It just sounds like it's not like your typical kind of like, "Hey, Daddy, why is that man dressed as Santa?" It's like kind of creepy, like the kid sounds older. You know, it's like it feels off. Anyway, moving on. So the Tick, everyone's singing Christmas carols. And just the idea of superheroes singing Christmas carols and the neighbors just don't like it. It's like, stop trying.
That's something I might fit into my Super Academy Christmas special.
Power Kid trying to carol.
Yes. No, specifically Power Kid and Starburst having a caroling competition over who can carol the most. anyways.
And in the end, the Starburst gets all the tips around the holidays.
Of course. And
it's old women that are tipping them.
Right.
Anyway, so aside from little old ladies tipping Starburst, we got everyone. All the superheroes are singing, but the Tick. And then we see the Santas kind of approaching, and they're multiplying. Santa, you're back!
Oh God.
So the multiple Santa Clauses attack. The Flair Mouse claims again. Basically, there's a lot of cool action stuff happening as they're all kind of fighting off these Santa Claus, and they have some good gags like the Flair Mouse claiming, "But I've been good this year, Santa." And then we have kind of an Edna Mode moment where he's grabbed by the cape, and then you have no capes. He's grabbed by the cape, and they get into a fight, and there's so many Santas, and it's saying, "So many Santas, I can't get my mind around it." And American Maid is saying, "You're a disgrace to the uniform, Buster." As she's getting into a fight with one of them. Pretty cool. American Maid seems pretty cool, right?
She does. From the limited screen time she has this episode. Yeah,
I love the facial animation. Yeah, I love the face. I don't know what it is, Tease. I love the animation on her face. She has kind of this look in her eye. Just like,
I hear you.
She's kind of like passive on everything in the eyes.
Sure.
Then we have a $6 million man homage, which I think is hilarious. That when the American Maid's running, it has like the $6 million man sound effect.
Right.
So let's see that leads Santa to basically that kicker, that hit or whatever. It fries the lead Santa, it fries our lead multiple Santa on the generator. You think it's Kaputski for the guy, but no, he's alive.
Oh yeah.
He's alive, and there are more copies. Arthur gets thrown around, and then Tick is in. This is the hilarious run.
I just can't hit Santa. I just can't do it.
This, I think, is the most brilliant idea of the whole special effects. Tick cannot hit Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, it's funny. It's really good.
The Flair Mouse is saying, "They're not really Santa, you dink." Okay. Meanwhile, we have news reports in the bar saying there's a lot of Santa looting chaos going on.
Mm-hmm.
Even they're even stealing the new 17 camera, but it's okay. It's insured.
Right.
Okay, let's see. So meanwhile, the Flair Mouse. I love this idea of all these superheroes just kind of hanging out in a diner.
Yes,
You know?
yes, I'm sure that's something you do like.
Yeah, which is also. I mean, we also love from how it should have ended the Batman Superman Super Cafe
Of course,
thing.
of
So,
course. They're kind of the guys that brought that concept to the forefront, I think, for sure.
Again, this predates them though, so I mean, it's not new, but it's like popular now.
Right.
I thought it was like kind of a little, casual setting, but anyway.
And then didn't those guys get it from Shawarma to begin with?
No, they did that before Shawarma.
They did that before Shawarma? Okay, cool.
The Super Cafe was around way before Shawarma, but the idea of superheroes in a diner, it's an eccentric thing. It's been around for a while.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's see. So, all right. So all of our superheroes are gathered at the diner, kind of watching this thing on TV. And the Flair Mouse is grilling the tick at the diner over not fighting Santa Claus, and made the nicest out of all, the most civil out of all the heroes is the American made and Urchin. Urchin's the guy who keeps repeating himself. They basically even they bag on the tick of saying, "Yeah, that was pretty stupid." It's like, oh, not Urchin, American made. No,
but I just couldn't hit that holly jolly face.
Yeah.
How
And
could
then
you
the Flair
ever be
Mouse.
sure it's not the real Santa?
Then the Flair Mouse offers a very sarcastic clue. Well, Tick, if he hits you in the stomach, then it's probably not him. So sarcastic, that deflator mouse. So let's see. So the multiple Santas. Basically now we're in the multiple Santas hideout, and the lead one exposits to the ho ho clones.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much the clones, the mark of the Santa Claus. Also, they can only speak in ho ho hos. So no verbal so basically a lot of non-verbal comedy, and like basically trying to get these guys to kind of fill in the next part of the plan, but it's only ho ho hos.
Of course.
So basically what's exposited in this scene is the more electricity our Santa has here, the more clones he has and the more power he has. So the plan is to go to the hydroelectric plant of the city dam, at the city dam, sorry, which gets a chorus of ho. So that's the plan. Meanwhile, Arthur explains on the way up to the apartment on the myth and the magic of Santa Claus. You're pretty much saying, Santa Claus, it makes people feel good, but it's not real. Meanwhile, we have a little Secret Service. We have our little Secret Service elves, all voiced by Rob Paulson.
Yes.
The elves are searching for bugs, and you're even offering in this tiki pleasantries. I know it's at their own apartment, but still, it's pleasantries. They're offering Santa Claus. This is a very pleasant Santa Claus we have, actually. But our elves here, they're offering like cider or what was it? eggnog and cider. I mean, nice guys. Now the tick meets the real Santa, and he's nice. Hooray!
And he's not voiced by Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, but seriously, how great was this Santa? I love it. It's such a nice guy. He hands out gifts constantly. He has a compulsion to give out gifts.
Yeah, he's super nice.
Yeah. So let's see. So our nice Santa here, Arthur's starstruck now, realizing, oh my God, it's really him. So again, this is kind of the now he's fully in the holiday spirit. And, he wasn't in a bad mood or anything. I'm just saying, again, it really doesn't lend itself to a Scrooge like Tiki said beforehand.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I mean, the closest.
I honestly think, could we say this is like we're gonna throw out the Scrooge? Just no Scrooge?
Yeah, I mean, Arthur's in the spirit. I mean, it's really kind of.
I know. I think we're going to have to go with no Scrooge, my friend. I think that's kind of the way we're going to have to go with this thing. What do you think?
All right. No Scrooge. Throw it out.
No Scrooge. Oh, boy. No Scrooge. No Scrooge.
Throw it out.
Wow. Groundbreaking shit, man. Groundbreaking shit.
Dang, we've kind of said this beforehand, but you always convince us to have a Scrooge.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that.
Okay, let's see. So I'm just trying to pick up where we left off here. All right, so Tick meets the real Santa Claus, and he's nice. He brings visiting gifts, a travel-sized alarm clock, and an NX scrambler, because Tick likes crime fighting. He likes crime fighting gear.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the only thing I really need to clarify is the Tick loves buying kind of frivolous kind of crime fighting equipment that never works.
Right.
Okay,
right.
let's see. So he has a chat with Santa Claus on his lap, and again, the fact that Santa Claus is allowing the Tick to sit on his lap, it's crushing him.
Oh
and it's
my,
killing him.
Tick, you're a big boy, aren't you?
And this is I think it's maybe my favorite Santa we've gotten so far in Christmas in July this season.
It's not as good as Godfried. I'm
No,
sorry.
for me, it easily a tops Godfrey. For me, easily.
No, I can't say it tops Godfried. I can't say it tops Godfried.
I'll agree to disagree with you. This Santa Claus I think is awesome because he has these great lines where he says, I love this how nice he is with Tick here, which says, Tick, look, I love you like a son. I love you like a son, Tick. I mean, you've kept the faith longer than most, sanely than most. But get a grip on yourself. He is like kind of like it's kind of like he's so fatherly, he's saying, but look, you gotta, he's being stern with the Tick here, saying, look, I love you, I love the holiday spirit, but you gotta get a grip of yourself. You have to hit the fake Santas.
Sure.
You gotta get a grip of yourself. You gotta save Christmas. Essentially, I just love how kind of all business as Santa is. He's not clipping his wings, but he's telling you gotta get down to business, kid.
Mm-hmm.
He gives the Tick an orange. Again, more holiday oranges. There's a trope.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
And these oranges don't lead to death.
Isn't it? Oh, dear.
And importantly, these aren't like. See, there's a difference between holiday oranges and Godfather oranges. Godfather oranges.
Oh yes, there's a difference. There is definitely a difference there, sir.
See, Godfather oranges are omens of death, where holiday oranges are omens of good tidings and good futures.
Of course.
And defeating bad guys. So, supposedly he's giving the Tick an orange while Arthur is grabbing his old pop gun. He mentioned this on the way up, like they're walking up. Oh yeah, Santa Claus is gonna be a pop gun. It was the magical Christmas ever. And this gag, I love it. It makes all the sense in the world. So there's like one bit I think it's like, oh, it's a little much, where Santa Claus basically has a little conversation with the Tick. Arthur's just trying to show Santa Claus his old pop gun he's got, and this is a famous Rob Paulson quote. He loves using this quote whenever he goes on stage. So I don't know if it started from here, but it's definitely the one he loves to use. Says, he's got a gun.
Right. Yeah.
And this makes all the sense in the world. Like the Secret Service elves would freak out if you brought a gun to Santa, and I thought it was unnecessary to break it though. I think it seems a little cruel.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, you just take away the gun, don't break it.
Right.
And that's the only thing, because I was hoping like Santa Claus would easily fix it or something, but it's a very minor gripe. It's very minor.
Oh well, sorry, Arthur, but most people are nice, but naughty little boys once in a while come after Santa.
I love that idea, though. It's the idea that there are people try.
See, that's why I didn't really mind the gag so much. I honestly didn't really have a problem with it. Like,
see, I got a thing where I was destruction of property kind of gets under my skin sometimes. Like,
but he offers a pencil set, Dragon. He offers Arthur a pencil set. I mean, come on now.
I know. It's great. Yeah, I'm just saying with anything like the destruction of beloved childhood things, always kind of it's a little. It doesn't matter. Point is, it is great though how upbeat the Santa Claus is, and the idea that some naughty kids. It's so like there's such a veneer of adultness underneath that kids are trying to take a shot at Santa Claus for getting on the naughty list. It's so hilarious.
Right.
Again, I'm saying that this Santa Claus is just so awesome to me. I love him.
I'm not feeling the Santa quite as much as you are, I gotta say.
I don't know what's wrong with you, honestly.
I know, it's like, he's fine. I don't think he stands out really all that much, to tell you the truth. He's just kind of like he's a good Santa. I don't think he's like the best Santa we've ever had. He's not like, to me, he's not super memorable, honestly.
But I'm just saying, he's very helpful. He knows everything, and just later on with the Tick's gag, this is the most helpful Santa ever.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Anyway, let's see. So after I'm just trying to let's see. So.
I mean, I feel bad for not being over the moon about this guy like you are, but I'm not seeing what's so great about him.
Right,
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying he's not Godfried. Anyways.
So after here, have a pencil set, Arthur. Now get out there and save Christmas. Yeah, this is another trope. It's the saving Christmas trope.
Yes, our heroes having to save Christmas, indeed.
It's presented in such a fresh way that the Santa Claus directly saying to you, okay, you guys gotta save Christmas.
Somebody kidnapped Santa? That does not rock!
Yeah. So we're at the dam. So then we have like the two guards again, more Ben Edlund comedy here. Just like one of them saying, "Hey, why is Christmas is so depressing? Why do you think that is?"
Well, I don't know. We got fired from 4 jobs this month. Lost childhood, never getting what you really want.
Then Santa Claus attacks, and that's not helping either.
No.
Meanwhile, Arthur and the Tick, they're looking, and they're basically kind of expositing as they're walking the streets. Why is it? Oh, this Santa Claus is such a cagey prey. First he's everywhere, now he's nowhere. Then they get a call randomly at a payphone. I love this. This is why I'm fully over the moon with this Santa Claus. They get a call and they answer the phone, and they hear from Santa, "Oh boys, listen, I forgot to mention this one thing." He basically says, he tells them where the location is. Tells them they're at the dam. They're at the power grid dam. And then just the Tick so exuberantly says, "He knows everything."
Right. That is pretty funny.
I'm saying this angle was.
You know what though? To me, it's more kind of like I like the Tick's reactions to Santa more than I think without the Tick's reactions to Santa, if this Santa was just in something else, it wouldn't work as well. Is that fair?
I'm telling you this, I think the Tick's reactions are the cherry on top that just makes it even more great. But I tell you this, I think the Santa Claus, though, he's so... I'm
fine. I think he's fine. I just don't...
I know he's fine. I'm just saying I like him.
All right, fair enough. I just don't want you to feel like I'm an asshole because I'm not big and over the moon with this guy.
You're making me kind of question my view now.
All right.
I mean, I like him. That's all I care about.
Like I said, it's like I don't think he's terrible. I just don't think he's like this huge, like one of the best Santas we've ever seen on Christmas in July.
I'm just saying for this season. I'm saying this season on Christmas in July so far, I like him. All right.
Well, I still don't think he tops Godfrey, but that's.
I think he easily does. Godfrey, I think we're going in circles now. So.
All right.
So after he knows everything, to the dam. To the dam, we see our guard. One of the guards warns multiple Santa the wattage is for 4 city blocks, and he says, "Okay." He doesn't care. He says, "Okay, bon voyage." Expecting this guy to just zap himself to non-existence. He gets zapped, but he doesn't like disappear. He gets tons and tons, like a giant tidal wave, a Yule tide of Santa Claus floods him and washes Tick and Arthur away. And then we have some great
blue salmon of justice.
Guys, love that line. The great blues, and he swims upstream like a salmon.
Right.
Because after the Tick swims upstream,
the mighty Tick courses upstream to the very spotty grounds of evil.
So then the Tick he gets like water out of his ear. In this case, it's a Santa hat out of his ear. They begin the fight, but of course the Tick struggles to punch Santa Claus and says, "Must save Christmas." Then he instead, and this is such, and if only the world's problems could be solved like this. Seriously, this is like one of those moments, like when we talk about the Peanuts and it's like Snoopy kisses Lucy and then she doesn't want to fight. I mean, why can't the world's problems be solved like this? Noogies. Why can't we noogie the bad guys?
Right.
You know how wonderful.
I don't think it's quite as inventive as the orange is being defeated by the orange, but it's still pretty fun. Yeah,
but we're not rhyming. That's why you can't use the orange. If only we could take kind of the bad guys of this world and just give them movies. But why can't we just give Bill Cosby a noogie and make him stop his evil ways?
Oh dear God. Oh, I don't think we're going to be touching the Cosby Show Christmas specials anytime soon, folks.
Unless we really want to make things strange.
Oh boy. Oh God. Oh no. Anyways.
I could make a few dark jokes just spring to mind.
Oh, I know you could. I could too. That's why we're not going to do it.
There's a certain. Oh, I can't even bear to say it.
No, Bert. We're almost there.
Right. Anyways,
you had to drag Cosby into it.
I'm saying, I want to say, fine, I'll say the other thing I wanted to say is the distract from Cosby.
Okay.
If only we take kind of the terrorists and the bad guys that were just doing noogies and just stop World War and stuff.
There you go. That's a little bit less personal and on the nose than Cosby. All right.
Why can't we just take the bad guys that will just give them noogies? Stop. Point is, so our multiple Santa Claus, the Tick, instead of hitting Santa, he noogies him, and he noogies him so vehemently, the static electricity from the noogie makes him vanish.
And he's also making noogie puns. Happy Noogie Year!
Yep. So basically, he says in this hilarious line again, it's like the Tick is very much like a more awesome version of the Crimson Chin in many ways.
I can see
he is.
that. Yeah.
It basically is like he can get away with these lines, but the lines feel less intentional as they were with the Crimson Chin. The Crimson Chin is like trying to sound like the Tick essentially.
Sure.
Like Great Blue Salmon Justice here says the Achilles heel is the noogie. And which leads to some awesome jovial defeats of just noogieing the bad Santas.
Police Nave dead.
Yep. So then we see the giant moon. Now, I think this is the other thing I might have to explain to you. So the running gag.
I think you might.
But let's give the episode points. I mean, it's pretty much a good kind of starter episode. You only need two things to explain to you.
It's a very good starter episode. You're right. Totally.
It's like Tick's crime gadgets in this one. This is the main one to explain. The other things, like if you didn't hear what it was, you don't care. But this is the main one. So the moon has a giant. You'll notice the moon has a giant chunk out of it because they had a Galactus parody, and Galactus, instead of eating the planets, he actually takes bites out of planets. So he took a bite out of the moon.
Oh God.
See, the Tick became his herald, like the Silver Surfer, and he allowed him to take a bite out of the moon.
Oh, that's good.
But Chairface Chippendale, who, by the way, in case you didn't know this, Tiki, was voiced by Tony J.
Oh, okay.
You not a man in a really well-dressed suit. Basically, Tick's Ra's al Ghul, well-dressed foe, has a chair for a head. By Tony J.
Nice.
One of the villain voices.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Not only a villain voice, Dr. Lipschitz.
Oh God.
You don't mess with that guy. And also the friendly scientist from Twins. That's another one there.
Okay,
anyway, Chairface. Well, let me explain. The Chairface Chippendale real quick. It's his big plot was to carve his name laser his name on the moon like Chairface, and he only got Cha on there. And I guess at this point, it's like only says like, what's Ha? It says Ha. It says Ha with a big bite mark out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Merry Christmas, you. Oh, sorry, go on.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to you! Spoon!
Yeah, which is nice. I mean, Santa Claus said, spoon. That's nice.
That was the best Santa moment of the episode, I would say. Just right at the very end. Spoon!
Yep. And then the Tick has just a great monologue to end on here. I think I got it down here. Unless you have it. Do you have it all?
No, I don't have the full thing. No.
Large majority of us, I think.
Yeah,
the point is, the Tick has like a great monologue here. As this is going on, the Santa thief hilariously, Santa, he's trying to get away while the Tick and Arthur are distracted until he just runs into the guards. And I love that we don't see the whole thing unfold. The guards just take him away because these guys are distracted. They stopped him, but they're not going to arrest them.
Right.
This strange Christmas episode has taught us the meaning, has taught us much. Santa is real and a compulsive gift giver. And he's Christmas all over. We like wondrous reindeer should carry the message of basically carry this message to everyone. And most like basically saying you strut your antlers, basically all these little like deer things. And do all of that, but most important, or open presents because it's Christmas.
Hell yeah!
The guy gets away, and then Tiki, how do we end it?
How do we end it? You're putting me on the spot, man.
Plums.
Oh yeah, right.
Plums.
The sugar plums, the dancing sugar plums. They're back, and they're the best.
And Arthur season 2. That again, the only thing that kind of lets in the breadcrumb trail of Arthur being a Santa Claus. Now he sees the sugar plums.
Right.
Christmas, how nice and sweet is that? This special is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to admit, like, this kind of getting into my final thoughts. Like I said, I feel kind of like an asshole for really liking this episode and not particularly loving it. That might just be because I'm not that familiar with the show. It might be any number of things. Dragon, obviously, you have more of a connection with the superhero genre, so maybe it just resonated with you a little bit more. I think this is a really, really good episode. I don't think it's necessarily the best episode that we've done so far this year, but it's good. It's a lot of fun. I don't know. I don't necessarily think there's all that much that they do to really subvert the Christmas stuff, but I don't know. It's like, to tell you the truth, I'm a little bit kind of like, I'm not necessarily indifferent about it, but I'm more kind of just like, yeah, it's fun. You know, it's like, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it beyond that, whereas you kind of seem to be just singing its praises in a more elaborate kind of way. So, I don't know.
It's
I mean, I didn't really get a lot of...
in July this season.
I didn't really get a ton out of it personally. I just kind of like, oh, well, that was really fun. You know, a lot of fun one-liners. To me, the better Christmas in July episodes we do are the stuff like the Lois and Clark, for example, where there's a lot of like kind of cool, meaty, like subversion of the tropes that we can dive into. And I don't know. This was fine. This was really good. It was really enjoyable. Certainly probably the fastest paced episode that we've talked about so far. I'm not in love with it like you are, though. And I hope that doesn't make me a jerk.
Well, this episode may not have a Scrooge, but this episode does.
I'm the Scrooge. I'm the Scrooge. We figured it out. We
You
figured
were
it
the
out.
Tiki, you were the Scrooge the whole time.
Oh God. All right, I can accept that.
It was you.
I can accept that.
But again, folks, just to sum up my thoughts and like final thoughts before we move on. This is the first. I think this is the first full-length episode that Tick I've watched in a long while since that one episode was really kind of going off on. And again, full length. I've seen clips. Again, I get the gist of the show. I want make it very clear. I'm not or anything. I appreciate the premise of what I've heard. I'm really liking what I've heard in the gist of it. But this definitely sparks my intrigue. Again, it was a lot of fun. I think what I like most about it, again, not just the superhero stuff. What I love most about it in this case was I love the Tick's enthusiasm. I think the heart of the special is really nice, and basically someone like so jovial around Christmas time. Basically, a superhero Christmas special that wasn't all about fighting or anything around the holidays. It was all about, again, our main character doesn't want to fight Santa. He doesn't want to fight Christmas. He loves Christmas. It's so, it's meeting violence with love. It's like,
yeah.
It's an uplifting special, I thought. And again, I love just the exuberance and just kind of like the pleasantness for Santa Claus and the holidays, but also just the amidst the absurdity of like a Santa Claus who can duplicate. Again, a man who randomly gets he does not die when he hits a sign. He randomly gets powers, and there's no explanation of this. He then can duplicate himself, and again, still not die. And again, all the duplicates, because he was simply in a Santa suit, are all Santa Claus themed.
Right.
I mean, it's absurd. It's the most ridiculous. If I told you this, Tiki, you wouldn't believe me, right? You would just think, "Oh, you're making this up." But again, I think in the absurd, there's like the Tick. He's just your heart goes out to him when he thinks Santa Claus is no more. And again, it's like this absurd kind of kid logic of like, oh, Arthur's trying to explain there's no real Santa Claus. But it's also kind of like you almost like have kind of like a serious after school special with the Tick of like explaining to someone who's witnessed kind of a loss and no one seems to care, and basically he's the only one that cares.
Oh God,
about
like the
loss.
Big Bird thing.
Maybe not that tragic, but you know what
Not
I mean.
that tragic, not that sad.
Yeah, but seriously, it's kind of like the Tick is going through a loss, and he's like, I
Yeah.
was there, and basically imagine if you watched like a Santa Claus who reached the end of his life right in front of you, and you were a kid with the mentality of a child, you'd be devastated.
Well, I
And
saw
no
that.
one
I
knew-
saw that movie, Dragon. It was called The Santa Claus.
Yeah, well, he didn't see it happen. He saw the aftermath.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I remember the original draft of that movie. Tim Allen shot him.
Right.
I'll remind you. Anyway, point is just a lot of fondness, respect. I like the kind of the genuine heart that's there amidst all the absurdity, and I think that I thought the Santa Claus awesome. Again, even like I'm not saying it's a big deal. I'm just saying I like this. I really like the Santa Claus.
Okay.
But overall, really fun special sections this year. I mean, it's not as much as Lois and Clark's. Again, this is so far, folks. We still got a ways to go, but so far Lois and Clark is my favorite, and this is like either the next one or one after something.
Yeah, and it's near the top for me. It's near the top.
I really liked it, a lot of fun, and let's continue.
Okay, so tropes. So let's see. We have the charity Santa.
Yep.
We have
Christmas shopping.
Yeah, someone an evildoer impersonating Santa around the holidays.
Oh yeah, feels very Powerpuff Girls-esque, with like the lucky the Lucky Rabbit Charms guy.
Right.
We have
debate about the existence of Santa.
Yes, we have Christmas party. We have Christmas caroling.
Sure. Party caroling, eggnog.
We have superheroes around Christmas time. We got
Rob Colson voicing multiple characters.
Okay. we have Santa pleasantries.
Santa pleasantries, hell yeah.
Yeah. We have Secret Service elves, which it's surprising.
I'll definitely give that to you. That is definitely a trope for sure.
Look at Fred Claus. We had Secret Service elves there.
Of course.
Let's see. So,
how about
saving Christmas.
How about sitting on Santa's lap?
Yes.
And yes, you're right. Saving Christmas, indeed.
The beloved Santa gift, which unfortunately reaches an end, which is the only thing close to a gripe I have with this episode. Let's see. Pacifism around Christmas time, is that a thing?
Sure. And then how about the final shot of Santa flying over the moon on his sleigh and saying "Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas"? How about that?
Yes.
Spoon!
Let's see. I think so Christmas, the holiday moral.
There we go.
It's that thing that sums it up.
I think that's it. All right, folks. Well, what we did just there, we took a spoon and we scooped into the holiday tropes. We scooped into the hobo gravy of holiday tropes and really just got deep down into that hobo gravy of holiday tropes to really get the nice meat of what the holidays have to offer and what these Christmas specials have to offer.
But Tiki, it's just there's a sense of longingness. We're missing something, Tiki. You mixed up, put the rock soup down. We were missing something. If only there were, Tiki. If there's just, it's not Christmas in July without this certain something, and we're missing it. And it's a terminology. It's a saying. It's a catchphrase. Not as catchy as spoon, but it's something. It's a scientific thing. It sounds a little alliterative, it's got. I'm sensing some green. I'm sensing some red. I'm sensing some feet. What would it be called?
I think you're looking for putting the mistletoe underneath the microscope. Yes! Next time on Christmas in July. Spoon. But they're dancing, Arthur. They're dancing.
Sing in my head.
Spoon.